You think strength is built under perfect conditions. Think again. Real strength is born when your world falls apart. When your plans fail, your body screams and your heart feels empty. It's not the calm that shapes you, it's the chaos that forges who you truly are. When life throws storms your way, that's your training ground. Not the gym, not the routine, but the moments that break your rhythm and test your patience. Chaos teaches what comfort never will. Comfort is the greatest illusion of strength. When everything feels easy, when the road is smooth and predictable, it's easy to believe you're strong. But comfort doesn't test you, it protects you. It keeps you in a bubble where you never have to confront the parts of yourself that are fragile, impatient, or fearful. Chaos, on the other hand, rips away that safety net. It exposes every weakness you try to hide. And that's where real growth begins. You don't find out who you are when things go right. You discover it when everything starts to go wrong. When life becomes unpredictable, when challenges come without warning, your reactions tell the truth about your strength. The panic, the frustration, the urge to quit. Those aren't signs of weakness. They're signs that your limits are being revealed. Most people run from that feeling. They rush to find comfort again. But the ones who grow, the ones who become unshakable, are those who stay in the chaos long enough to learn from it. Because chaos doesn't destroy you, it shows you where you still need to build. Think about it. Every breakthrough in your life probably came after a breakdown. Every lesson that changed you came from something that once hurt. The days that pushed you to the edge, the failures that made you question everything, those were the moments when your character was being formed. You might not have seen it then, but chaos was shaping your strength in silence. Every disappointment was a hidden form of discipline. Every challenge was a mirror showing you the gap between who you were and who you could become. When you face chaos, your comfort zones crumble. You lose control over the things you once depended on. Plans, routines, predictability. And that's exactly why it's powerful, because once you lose control, you stop pretending you have it. You start depending on something deeper. Your will, your adaptability, your courage. You begin to understand that control was never the goal. Growth was. Chaos gives you no other choice but to grow. It strips away your excuses, your fears, and your doubts, leaving you face to face with your raw potential. It's in chaos that you learn emotional endurance. When life hits you hard, when people disappoint you, when the future becomes uncertain, you learn to breathe through it instead of breaking under it. You learn to observe your own reactions, to notice that strength isn't about never feeling fear. It's about feeling it and moving forward anyway. You start to understand that being calm in chaos isn't a gift. It's a skill, and it's one that's only earned through experience, through staying in the storm long enough to find stillness within yourself. Every strong person you've ever admired has faced chaos and refused to run. They didn't become strong because life treated them kindly. They became strong because chaos tested what comfort could never prepare them for. So when life throws you into uncertainty, don't curse it. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because every wave of chaos carries a lesson, and every lesson carries the seed of strength. True strength isn't about holding everything together when life is easy. It's about holding yourself together when everything is falling apart. Chaos doesn't care about your plans or your comfort. It will come to shake you, to strip you, to challenge you. But if you face it with courage, if you let it teach you rather than scare you, it will turn you into someone who doesn't just survive chaos, but thrives in it. Pain is the greatest teacher you'll ever have. It speaks a language that comfort never will. It humbles you, sharpens you, and reveals the parts of you that still need to grow. You can lift weights, chase achievements, or build routines, but nothing will shape your character like pain does. Pain strips away the surface. It gets right to the truth of who you are. It doesn't lie, it doesn't flatter, and it doesn't let you hide. It shows you exactly where you're weak and forces you to confront it. When you're in pain, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual, you're being invited to learn resilience. Every ache, every heartbreak, every failure is a lesson written in discomfort. Most people see pain as punishment, but it's not. It's a process. It's life's way of molding you into something stronger. The moments that hurt the most are the ones that build your capacity to endure. Pain doesn't just challenge your limits, it expands them. Each time you push through something you thought would break you, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you believed. It's easy to stay motivated when things go well. It's easy to have faith when the path is clear. But the real test comes when everything starts to fall apart, when your efforts go unnoticed, when people walk away, when plans collapse. That's when pain starts its work. It's in those silent, lonely hours when your dreams feel out of reach that strength is being built. Pain becomes your personal trainer, breaking you down, only to rebuild you with a stronger foundation. The more you endure, the deeper your roots grow. Pain also teaches humility. It reminds you that you're human, that you can fall, fail, and still rise again. It strips away ego and pride, replacing them with gratitude and awareness. You begin to see that life's hardest moments aren't there to destroy you, they're there to refine you. Every scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of survival. Pain doesn't make you weaker, it makes you wise. It teaches empathy because once you've been broken, you understand others who are breaking too. It teaches patience because healing takes time. It teaches faith because in the middle of pain, you learn to trust what you can't yet see. You can't run from pain forever. You can try to numb it, distract yourself, pretend it's not there, but it always finds a way to return because its job isn't done. Pain only leaves once it has taught you what you need to know. The more you resist it, the longer it stays. But the moment you face it, really face it, you begin to transform. That's when you stop asking, why me, and start saying, try me. Because deep down, you know that every painful experience is a form of training. The people who rise after pain carry something powerful inside them, a quiet confidence that no one can take away. They've seen darkness, but they didn't surrender to it. They've faced loss, but they refuse to lose themselves. Pain forged them into something unbreakable. That's why the strongest hearts often come from the hardest battles. Strength built in comfort is shallow, but strength built in pain runs deep. It's permanent, it's earned, and it's real. So when life hurts, don't shrink back. Lean into it. Let the pain do its work. Let it burn away your fears, your doubts, your old self. Because once the fire is done, what remains is pure, stronger, wiser, and ready for anything. Pain doesn't just test you, it transforms you. It's not your enemy, it's your greatest ally in becoming everything you were meant to be. Adaptation is the true mark of strength. When everything around you changes, when the world stops making sense, the ability to adjust, to bend without breaking, is what keeps you alive and moving forward. Life isn't a straight path, it's a storm. Plans fall apart, people change, doors close, and suddenly you're standing in the middle of uncertainty. That's when real strength steps in, not through control, but through flexibility. The strongest people aren't the ones who force life to stay the same. They're the ones who can adapt when life refuses to cooperate. Chaos doesn't ask for permission, it arrives uninvited. You can't always predict it, and you can't always prevent it, but you can choose how to face it. When everything around you shifts, you have two options. Resist and break, or adapt and grow. Resistance keeps you trapped in pain. Adaptation turns that pain into progress. Every time life throws a new challenge your way, you're being trained to evolve, to think differently, to act differently, to survive differently. This is how warriors are made. They don't conquer chaos by fighting it head on. They learn to flow with it, to use its force as fuel. Adaptation begins with mindset. It's the decision to stop clinging to how things should be and start facing how things are. The world doesn't owe you stability. People won't always stay. Opportunities won't always last. But your power lies in how quickly you can adjust to change without losing your spirit. That's where inner strength shows itself. Not in the ability to control life, but in the ability to stay calm, resourceful, and focused when everything shifts around you. Think about nature. The strongest trees are the ones that bend with the wind. They survive storms not because they resist, but because they move with the chaos instead of against it. That's what adaptability does for the human spirit. It keeps you alive when everything else seems to crumble. Every obstacle becomes a lesson. Every change becomes a chance to evolve. The world's most resilient people don't fear change. They rely on it. They understand that every transformation, no matter how uncomfortable, carries the seed of something greater. When you adapt, you become unstoppable because you stop needing conditions to be perfect. You stop waiting for life to make sense. You learn to find strength in motion, stability in uncertainty, and direction in confusion. You realize that growth doesn't happen in straight lines. It happens in twists and turns, in sudden detours and unexpected endings. Every time you adjust to something new, you're proving to yourself that you can survive more than you thought, that chaos doesn't have to destroy you, it can define you. Adaptation also builds confidence. When you face change and come out stronger, you develop faith in yourself. You start to trust your instincts, your ability to rebuild, your power to endure. You stop being afraid of losing things because you know you can create something new from the ashes. Adaptation is freedom. It means you're not tied to outcomes, only to effort. You learn to move forward with courage even when the path isn't clear. Every survivor, every leader, every fighter who's endured great hardship shares one trait. They adapted. They refused to give up when the world shifted beneath their feet. They learned new ways, built new strength, and turned pain into progress. That's the beauty of chaos. It forces evolution. It pushes you to discover a version of yourself that only change can reveal. So when life changes without warning, when the plan fails, when the storm hits, don't freeze and don't fight what you can't control. Adapt. Adjust your steps, shift your focus, and keep moving. That's how you grow stronger, smarter, and wiser. Because the truth is, the ones who survive chaos aren't the toughest. The ones who know how to evolve through it. When chaos strikes, the body reacts before the mind can think. Your pulse quickens, your hands shake, your breath shortens. Instinct tells you to panic, to run, to find safety. But strength in those moments doesn't come from muscle or might. It comes from mastering your mind. The world outside can be on fire, but if you control the world inside, you can walk through that fire without being consumed. That's the real power, the ability to stay centered when everything else spins out of control. The mind is the battlefield where chaos is either defeated or allowed to win. When life becomes overwhelming, it's easy to get lost in fear, confusion, or anger. But those who rise above the storm do so because they train their thoughts as fiercely as any soldier trains for battle. They don't allow panic to take command. Instead, they breathe, assess, and act with clarity. It's not that they don't feel fear, they just refuse to be ruled by it. Mental strength isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about guiding it, channeling into focus rather than frenzy. In chaos, your mind will try to tell you stories. Stories of failure, hopelessness, and doom. You'll hear that inner voice whispering that you can't handle it, that it's too much, that this time you won't make it through. But that voice is a liar. It's fear disguising itself as truth. The challenge is to catch those thoughts before they take over, to replace them with reason, discipline, and faith. The mind, when untrained, will magnify every problem, but when trained, it will find solutions even in darkness. Mental toughness doesn't come from comfort. It's earned in the moments when you want to quit, but choose to keep going. Every time you face a storm and stay composed, you build an invisible armor. You teach your brain that it can survive discomfort, that fear doesn't have to dictate your actions. This control doesn't happen overnight. It comes from repetition, breathing through panic, focusing through noise. Over time, that practice turns into instinct. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop being a victim of chaos and start mastering it. The greatest victories in life are won in silence, inside the mind. When you learn to calm your thoughts in crisis, you see opportunities others miss. While everyone else is drowning in emotion, you find the lifeline. That clarity becomes your edge. It's what allows you to lead, to endure, to overcome. A strong mind can turn chaos into strategy, fear into fuel, and pressure into performance. It's the power of composure, knowing that even when everything outside is breaking apart, you don't have to. Your thoughts shape your world. If you think you're broken, you'll act broken. If you think you're capable, you'll find a way through anything. Every challenge in life is first won or lost in your head. The mind is your greatest ally or your greatest enemy, and you decide which one it becomes. Feed it fear, and it will paralyze you. Feed it focus, and it will guide you. So when chaos arrives, and it always will, don't let your emotions take the driver's seat. Pause. Breathe. Remind yourself that you've survived storms before and you'll survive this one too. Train your mind to stay calm, to find clarity where others see confusion, because true strength isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to stay unshaken while fear screams in your ear. When you control your mind, you control your reality. And in chaos, that control is everything. Uncertainty is one of life's greatest teachers, and yet it's the one most people try to avoid. We crave control, predictability, and assurance, but life doesn't work that way. The truth is, nothing meaningful ever grows in certainty. Growth lives in the unknown. It's in the moments when you don't have all the answers, when the road disappears ahead of you, when you're forced to move forward with faith instead of a plan. That's where the deepest kind of strength is born. The unknown is uncomfortable because it strips you of control. It takes away your ability to predict outcomes and forces you to live one breath, one decision at a time. But that's not weakness, it's evolution. It's the space where your instincts sharpen, where your awareness heightens, where your courage finally wakes up. When you step into uncertainty, you stop relying on the illusion of safety and start relying on yourself. You discover what you're made of, what you truly value, and what you're capable of becoming when life refuses to hand you guarantees. Every great transformation begins with uncertainty. Think about it. Before any new chapter in your life, there's always a moment of fear, hesitation, or doubt. You feel lost, unprepared, maybe even broken. But that's how change feels at first. It's chaos before order, the cocoon before the butterfly. You can't skip it, and you shouldn't try to, because that discomfort is shaping you. It's building new strength in places you didn't know existed. It's teaching you to trust the process, even when you can't see the destination. Uncertainty is not the enemy. It's the forge, the place where your old self burns away and your new self takes form. Every unknown situation demands growth. It forces you to think differently, act differently, and find courage you didn't know you had. It breaks patterns. It removes the limits you've unknowingly set for yourself. Most people fear uncertainty because they see it as danger, but it's actually potential in disguise. It's the blank page of your life story, waiting for you to write something new. When you accept uncertainty as part of the journey, you stop fighting it. You stop demanding that life makes sense before you take action. You begin to move forward with curiosity instead of fear. You learn to see challenges as teachers, not threats. That shift in mindset changes everything. Suddenly, failure isn't the end, it's feedback. Change isn't loss, it's opportunity. Every twist and turn becomes part of your training, part of your story, part of the strength that's being built inside you. The most resilient people aren't those who know what's coming. They're the ones who can keep walking even when they don't. They've learned that growth is rarely comfortable and never predictable. They've accepted that the road to strength isn't a straight line, it's a wilderness. But instead of panicking in that wilderness, they listen, learn, and adapt. They find purpose in confusion and progress in uncertainty. And that mindset, the ability to keep going without certainty, is what separates the fragile from the unbreakable. You don't need to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need the courage to take the next step, even when the path is hidden. Every brave decision you make in uncertainty builds trust within yourself. That trust becomes faith, and that faith becomes power. Eventually, you realize you no longer need clarity to feel confident. You've learned to create your own light in the dark. So don't fear uncertainty. Embrace it, let it stretch you, challenge you, and transform you. Because it's only when you step into the unknown that life truly begins. Every time you walk through uncertainty and refuse to give up, you become more resilient, more grounded, and more alive. Growth lives there in the wild, unpredictable, beautiful chaos of the unknown. In the middle of life's chaos, when everything feels uncertain and every plan falls apart, there's one thing that keeps you standing: faith. Not blind hope, but an unshakable belief that no matter what happens, you'll find your way. Strength isn't just about endurance or toughness, it's about trust. Trust in yourself, in your purpose, and in the idea that every storm is shaping you for something greater. Chaos builds that kind of faith because it removes everything else you could depend on. When you have nothing left but belief, that's when you discover how powerful faith truly is. In calm times, faith feels easy. You believe because things are going well, but faith isn't built in peace. It's built in the storm. When the world tests you, when people walk away, when your strength starts to fade, that's when real faith takes root. You stop relying on the visible and start depending on the invisible. You stop needing proof that you'll make it and start knowing deep in your bones that you will. That quiet certainty, that's the foundation of unshakable strength. Chaos strips away illusion. It reminds you that control is temporary, that plans can fail, that life doesn't owe you guarantees. And yet, even in that uncertainty, faith whispers, you're still capable. You're still growing. You're still meant to rise. That voice doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. It's the voice that says, keep moving even when your body is tired. Keep believing even when nothing seems to be working. Keep standing even when everything around you is falling. That's the kind of strength chaos builds. Faith that no storm can drown. When you develop faith through chaos, you begin to see every challenge differently. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this preparing me for? You begin to understand that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Every closed door, every delay, every heartbreak carries a lesson that strengthens your spirit. You start to recognize patterns in the chaos. Moments when you were broken but somehow rebuilt. When you were lost but somehow found your way again. Each of those moments adds another layer of trust. You begin to see that even when life felt cruel, it was carving something strong and steady inside you. Faith built in chaos isn't fragile. It's not the kind that disappears when times get tough. It's the kind that gets louder in the storm because it was born there. It's the type of faith that keeps you steady when others fall apart. It reminds you that you faced darkness before and survived it. It gives you calmness when others panic, hope when others give up, strength when others surrender. That's not luck. That's the power of believing in your own resilience. Over time, chaos stops feeling like an enemy. You begin to see it as a teacher. You stop fearing uncertainty because you've learned that you can stand inside it and still not break. You realize that faith isn't about expecting everything to go right. It's about trusting that even if it doesn't, you'll still be okay. That kind of trust changes the way you live. It frees you from fear. It gives you courage to take risks, to love deeply, to start again after failure. Because when you have faith in your strength, nothing can truly defeat you. So when life throws you into chaos, don't see it as the end. See it as the forge where your faith is being refined. Every storm is temporary, but the strength it builds in you is not. Keep standing, keep believing, because the moment you choose faith over fear, you stop being a victim of chaos, you become the master of it. That's where the strongest version of you is born, not in peace, but in the fire of uncertainty, guided by an unshakable belief that you will rise again.